Hello everyone, welcome to English with Sreyashi. In today's jam session, let me explain how I manage time to practice English. Often people ask me, how do you manage time to practice English? Actually, I don't wait for free time. I make English part of my daily routine. I use small pockets of time throughout the day to practice English. Let me explain step by step. As soon as I wake up early in the morning, I start talking to myself. For example, I have freshened up. Now I'm cleaning my kitchen. I am taking some vegetables, fruits, and fish out of the fridge. Now I'm going to open the main gate. Then I look at the weather, and if it is raining, I say it is raining. If the weather is cloudy, I say the weather is cloudy. I try to make one or two sentences about the weather. Then I come inside and I see my son and husband are still sleeping, and I say they are still sleeping and I have to wake them up. And while cooking, I do different activities. So while doing different activities, I try to narrate the activities. For example, I'm washing dishes or cutting vegetables. These days, I do a lot of self-talk. Yes, self-talk means talking to myself. I describe activities or real life situations or any object or something I experienced. Sometimes I narrate the thing out loud or sometimes in my mind, but I make sure that whenever I have 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I talk to myself in English and I describe a situation. And this practice actually helps me a lot to organize my thoughts, and whenever I'm trying to explain or narrate any situation, I can narrate it confidently. So this is one of the most important practice that I do, that self-talk. And when it comes to reading, I make that part of my daily routine. Every day, I help my son with his studies. For example, I am explaining a story, okay? And at first, I explain the story to him, and after explaining the story to him, I also read the story out loud myself. Yes, and I read it 1 or 2 times, and I considered it as my reading practice because my son studies in an English medium school and I'm also learning English. So while teaching him, I don't think that okay, now I'm teaching my son and after that I have to manage time to practice. No, when I'm teaching my son, that time also I learn from his books, from his science books, value education books. I always try to learn maximum things from stories because I enjoy reading stories. So his value education book has a lot of different stories, so I enjoy reading them. And from his literature book, I read some stories, and many things are there that I can learn from his books. And while teaching him, I take it as an opportunity to learn and practice English. And when it comes to listening while cooking food, I listen to podcast or interviews with celebrities or sportsmen or educators, and I enjoy listening to. And after listening to any podcast, if I enjoy it, I try to do shadowing also. Yes, and while listening, this morning I was listening to Ananya Birla, and I'm very much inspired after listening to that podcast. She is really, really nice and inspiring. And if you can also watch, just search like Ananya Birla, you will get different podcasts. So I watched one of her podcasts this morning, and actually I have been watching this particular podcast for the past few days. I have watched that podcast many times. Sometimes I just listen to the podcast, and sometimes I practiced with that podcast. I pause the video and I just repeatedly I read the lines out loud to practice and to learn. I learned different expressions and vocabulary or idioms from that particular podcast. So I always watch the podcast or enjoy watching the podcast which are very much inspiring. People are talking about their life stories. So I always enjoy listening to or watching interviews, yes, with celebrities and successful people, how they have achieved success. So this story I really enjoy. And after that, writing, yes, writing, I write whenever I get time. And whenever I get time, writing is not like that whenever you want to write you can write, okay. When it comes to me, sometimes some idea come to my mind, and I just start writing. And sometimes I sit with a notebook and pen, but I don't find anything to write. I just spend time wandering and thinking. And after some time, or suppose for example I'm serving food, and suddenly I think that, oh my god, I can write this and I can make a content about this topic. So I write down, and at the end of the day I try to write something, the important things, or you can say that touched my heart, that I write. And sometimes I write the random things what you are coming to my mind, and that's how I write. And I also write some sentences. Suppose if I have learned a new word, so I try to make some sentences using that particular word. And suppose I have experienced something good or bad, so I try to write down in my notebook. And as I'm a content creator, so I have to, or I need to write, okay, for my content creation. So that as a part of my practice, or you can say that for my YouTube videos, I have to write a lot, because when I write my content, I feel more confident while recording the video. So I write my content, and I write it in English. So that's how I'm practicing writing. And while writing or after writing, I take help from ChatGPT, because I have completed my education from Bengali medium school. So I have been learning this language for the past 8 years, though I still feel that I make mistakes. So in the age of ChatGPT, when we can use this app, okay, so why don't I use it? So I use it a lot whenever it comes to learning or correcting. Whenever I feel that, okay, this sentence might be wrong, so I go to ChatGPT and I take help. And when it comes to speaking, I have done reading, writing, listening. Okay, when it comes to speaking, I told that after waking up early in the morning, I start talking to myself. And whenever I get time, I talk to myself, sometimes out loud, sometimes in my mind. And I also spoken English trainer. I conduct online and offline batches. So the days I have sessions, so I get to practice with my students, okay, I talk to them. Though I have sessions every day, so every day I talk to my students, and that's how I'm practicing. And apart from that, I talk to ChatGPT as well. I ask me some questions about my daily life or about this particular book. And suppose I have read a book and I want to just discuss it, so that time I choose ChatGPT. Yes, and I say that I have read this book, so let's discuss. So I discuss and I talk to him for a while. I enjoy it, though I don't do it every day. Practice English, there are many things, okay, the reading, writing, listening, shadowing, speaking. So everything I cannot do every day, okay. So I choose few things. Okay, suppose today I'm going to read, write, or record some videos. These days my routine is that I decided that every day I'm going to record a video, because I am a camera shy person and I want to overcome this fear and I want to be a public speaker who can speak confidently in front of the camera or in public. So that's why I'm recording myself every day and uploading it on different social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So this practice is really helping me to know my level and to find out my mistakes and to correct them. Because earlier I used to feel that I know grammar, I can speak with people, because what happens now when someone comes to me to speak in English or ask anything in English, I am not scared. I can continue the conversation smoothly. But when I start recording myself, I realize that, oh my god, I am too much camera shy person, and I need to figure it out, and I need to solve it, and I need to fix it if I really want to grow in my life. So it is, I have been speaking in English for the past almost 12 minutes, and now I have to leave for my son's school to pick him up. And that's all for today. If you really want to speak English, speak and speak every day. Speak. Suppose you have 10 minutes to read a book, so push yourself to speak at least for 1 minute and then start reading. If you want to listen to a podcast, before listening, push yourself to speak for 1 minute and then listen to the podcast, because speaking is more important than doing anything. That's all for today. If you have found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to English with Sreyashi. I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.